Alright, so this is what I'm doing with the fuel rail. We cut it down the center here. We're going to split it apart, and that's how the hose is going to come off. And it's just a regular hose on there. And there you go. Now we got the new line we're going to put on. Llama a la Mega ya, 646-710-2661, 646-710-2661.
Niñito me regaló el nuevo teléfono LG Marquis de Boost móvil. Es un bombón. ¿Pero para qué? Si mi teléfono de disco hace de todo. Hablo por un lado y escucho por el otro. Y me dice mi nieto, güey, mira tu teléfono con Android. Ay, que no me ande con historias de ovnis. ¿Dónde está este Android? No lo veo. El teléfono es bien delgado. ¿Y qué nombre es ese? Android. Yo tenía un noviecito que se llamaba Manuel. Ay, mi teléfono podría tener Manuel. Ponte al día con la mejor tecnología. Ven a Boost Móvil y lleva el nuevo LG Marquis.
There's the other one.
With the protector and the new one. Llamadas, textos, internet nacionales.
Alright, so now we're taking the fuel injection rail apart, because what we're going to do is you could talk, just forget it, just talk. I'm taking the fuel injection rail apart, and we're going to clean it, and we're going to re-O-ring the injectors, and we're going to put on a new hose. So this is how to make a non-serviceable fuel rail serviceable. I made up a little tool here. This is basically from a jack, and I use this to take the holder out and to get the injector out and to get the O-ring out. So get a flathead screwdriver or get something like this and put it in here and pry up, and we're going to get the safety pin off. Just hold it, just don't touch the screen. And we're going to hold it, I'm going to pry, we'll get it to move. Moving forward. A little bit more. Whoop. Be careful because it springs out of the way. Then you find a spot. It's usually I like to do like right here. And you wedge it up. And this is the O-ring that's sucking it back in. And pull up.
It's like medium.
So now it's out. And the O-ring actually came out. Sometimes it'll stay in the cavity, and you just go in here and you scoop it out. And then finally, you go like this with your thumb, and this takes the O-ring off. This is the old one. And take the one off the top, put the injector off to the side, and repeat it for the other ones. And once you have it off, what we're going to do is we're going to clean the rail. It's your choice if you want to take this part off or not. I'm not going to. I'm just going to tape it off. I'm going to prime it and paint it. And then once we do that, we're going to get the fittings with the new line. And we're going to put this on. And we're going to use these fittings. You got to make sure you get these type of clamps. These are high pressure clamps for fuel injection. You have to get these type of clamps. So we're going to assemble everything, and I'll give you our final result. Alright, so we're going to finalize putting in all the injectors, which I kind of did, but I'm going to show you on this last injector. What you want to do is when you put the new O-rings on, you're going to want to lubricate them with some Vaseline, and you're going to put them back in its port, and it's a lot easier if you just lubricate them. And the metal clip that comes with it, see how it's a little distorted? Well, before you put it back on, and if you can't do this with your fingers, do it with a pair of pliers. Squeeze it. This one's a little crooked. I wonder what happened to this. But anyway, just squeeze it so you can get a tight fit. And it's kind of hard to do with one hand. I really should break out my tripod. But all you really got to do is just fit this back on the top of the injector. There are two grooves, if you could see them, right here. And where are we? I think I put it on backwards. Never mind, I put it on right. Alright. You take it, and you put it on like this. Now, what this does is these two slots that you see on the clip actually grab on to the lip part of the rail. So when you take it and when you're putting it in, give it a couple of twists as you're pushing it down, and these little tabs in the metal clip right here are going to lock into this lip. Okay, so we got our new fuel line, and the only thing we use is the old connector. Oh, there's a plastic piece. It's like a protector piece. Make sure you transfer this from the old hose over to the new one. I'm going to run some electrical tape on here to cover it up. This keeps it away from the heat and everything like that, because on the old hose, where it was exposed, I don't know if you guys could see that. I'm trying to focus. See all the cracks? Yeah, you don't want that in a fuel line. So we got that. We got the new injectors. They're the old O-rings. Injectors are cleaned. So now what we're going to do is we're going to tape off the orange pieces and the O-ring, and we're going to prime and paint it, make it look nice. So with the final assembled fuel rail, we have put primer on it, and we covered off all the O-rings and everything we don't want to be painted, and I primed everything, first coat, waiting on that to dry, and I'm going to be using it's engine paint, and it's GM Chrysler black, and it's flat black, I think, pretty sure. I didn't want to get a gloss because I didn't think it was appropriate to put gloss underneath the van. So, but letting this dry, I'm gonna walk up the block and get a cup of coffee. I've been dying for one. I really cut down. I'm only to like a cup a day now, as opposed to like 3 pots. But alright, well, we're gonna let this dry out, and then we're gonna start painting. And finally, well, hopefully we'll get the van done and running today, so I can stop putting miles on my Grand Prix. God, the van's been laid up only a week, and I've put almost 1,000 miles on the Grand Prix. It really bothers me a lot. Alright, so we got our nicely painted new fuel rail with new line installed. By the way, guys, when you reinstall the fuel injectors, make sure that the terminal connectors are facing inwards towards the plenum, just like this. I was distracted and in the middle of conversation when I was putting the injectors in, and I actually installed the injectors the other way around with the terminals facing this way. So it would have been pretty difficult to hook up the terminal connectors. So what we're going to do is we're going to finish putting the engine back together. So we're pretty much at the point where I'm just going to plug the fuel rail in, and I'm going to connect the fuel injectors, and I'm not going to start the car, but I'm going to do a fuel pressure test, and I'll show you how to do that in a sec. Alright, when you're plugging in the injectors, the part that looks like this, the terminal that looks like this, goes towards the fuel rail. You plug it in just like that. This is just so you don't mess up anything, or wonder, oh god, why the hell isn't this going in? You notice that when you put the bolts back down, which, by the way, the bolt size is 13 millimeter. So, and I used a gun on this. So get these wired up, and well, let's test the injectors. Alright, so make sure when you guys do this, there's nothing in the way. Like there's no there's no wires, no positive wires grounding out anywhere. Make sure you bolt the alternator wire back up. I mean, nothing's fully assembled yet, but, in the same breath, don't, I don't know, I can't talk today, but don't do this unless you have all your wiring secured. And this is just the test for fuel leaks, because you don't want to put that plenum on knowing you got to take it apart again. Hit it again. We're priming the system right now. Let's test it out. See what we got here. Alright, so far so good. I don't see any leaks. But then again, when the car is running and the injectors are actually injecting fuel, which I don't see it doing, you'll be able to tell. So far so good. There's no leaks. No leaks coming from the line, the new line that I made, and no leaks coming from the injectors. Remember, once again, when you put the injectors into the lower intake manifold, don't forget to lube them with like Vaseline or something, because they'll get caught and they may bunch up and they may not do their job. So let's finish priming the system. Okay, the rail is fully primed and we don't have any leaks. This is good. Now we can finish assembling the motor. What's next? Well, we're putting the plenum on.